This is not just an ideological argument. It's not just a minor disagreement. Oil is by far the most valuable export for Canada.
And they're not asking Ottawa for permission anymore.
Alberta and Saskatchewan are already more connected to the U.S. than to the rest of Canada.
Alberta just made a massive announcement about a pipeline deal with the U.S. because Ottawa has proven time and again it's not to be trusted.
For some reason, the federal government isn't prepared to make the changes. I have to say, the Americans are still very interested in working with us.
Alberta's securing its resources with the right partners. This deal includes a major energy corridor for oil, gas, and more, plus $3 billion in Indigenous equity.
The deal's been done behind closed doors, and now they're negotiating the terms of the deal. Okay.
Alberta is officially done asking Ottawa for permission. I mean, let's be real here. For years, Alberta has been powering Canada's economy, contributing 14% of the national GDP, despite only having 11% of the population.
Alberta single-handedly generates 14% of Canada's entire economic output, while housing only 11% of its population. 75% of Canada's oil production are absolutely united in standing up for their own citizens as over and against the dismissive entitlement mentality of Ottawa.
It's been one slap in the face after another from the feds, especially with the constant blocking of major infrastructure projects. I mean, remember Keystone XL? Or how about the Northern Gateway Pipeline? Both of those were shut down, costing Alberta and Canada dearly. Over $500 billion in blocked infrastructure projects. That's right, you read that correctly. $500 billion just sitting there, gathering dust, because Ottawa was too busy running around with virtue signaling policies.
First actions in office has been to rescind the presidential permit for the Keystone XL pipeline border crossing. This is a gut punch for the Canadian and Alberta economies. Sadly, it is an insult.
And Alberta. They're tired of waiting for federal approval. So they've decided to take matters into their own hands. They've signed a $20 billion pipeline deal with the U.S., sidestepping Ottawa completely. And guess what? It's going to transport a cool 1 million barrels of oil every single day. Just let that sink in. 1 million barrels. Every day.
Alberta's energy sector alone contributes over $70 billion to Canada's GDP. Without Alberta, the federal government in Ottawa would face a near $20 billion shortfall every single year.
Let's break that down a little more. Alberta currently pumps out 4.2 million barrels of oil per day. With this pipeline in place, 25% of that daily output is going to be funneled directly into high-demand international markets. Talk about cutting out the middleman, right? No more waiting on Ottawa to approve a pipeline that should have been built 5 years ago.
Alberta produces 4.2 million barrels of oil per day. That's 1.5 billion barrels annually. To put that in percent, that's more oil than most OPEC nations produce.
This isn't just a win for Alberta, it's a major flex. Now, this pipeline isn't just about the U.S. Alberta's looking even further. They're planning to tap into markets in Asia and Europe. That's right, Alberta's getting international, while Ottawa can't even get a decent energy policy together. And why? Because Alberta is done asking for permission. Ottawa's inability to approve infrastructure projects has led Alberta to simply take action.
All of Alberta's energy resources, oil, gas, bitumen, all of our agricultural products are exempt from tariffs. And that's what we've got to be working towards for every single product that we have going back and forth between our borders.
Alberta in particular, it's not just another Canadian province. It's an economic superpower. I mean, with a GDP of nearly $340 billion.
So now, Alberta is moving forward with the pipeline, and the province is doing it on its own terms. No more waiting on Ottawa's endless consultations or deliberations. No more asking for permission to build what should have been built years ago. Alberta is ready to lead the way, and they're not waiting around for anyone to catch up.
Alberta, Premier Danielle Smith has made it abundantly clear what Alberta's priorities are, and they are, one, one or more pipelines, and the more the merrier from her point of view.
They've made their move, and it's clear that they're not just talking big, they're backing it up with real action. This deal isn't just a win for Alberta. It's a slap in the face to a federal government that continues to put political correctness ahead of economic growth. And as for the rest of Canada, Alberta's making sure they're not going to be left behind this time. The days of waiting for Ottawa to play catch-up are over.
The United States, of course, is our most important ally and trading partner.
Alberta's just built a pipeline that will ship 1 million barrels a day to the U.S., and they've made sure Indigenous communities have real meaningful stakes in this project. So, to anyone in Ottawa who thinks they're still in charge, Alberta just gave you the middle finger, and it's carrying a one-way ticket to economic independence.
But I think you have to look at this through a political lens. Canada is in a tough situation. It's very dependent upon U.S. refiners and U.S. refinery markets. So a lot of their oil comes to the U.S.
Let's keep going, because Alberta is just getting started. This pipeline deal is only part of a much bigger picture. And what Alberta is really doing is setting the stage for a full-on energy corridor. This isn't just about one pipeline crossing borders. This is about creating a whole damn logistical network. Alberta isn't just rolling out a shiny new pipe. It's laying down the infrastructure that will stretch from Alberta to the U.S. and across to global markets.
But the anchor tenant for this corridor must be a 42-inch pipeline moving 1 million incremental barrels of oil.
This corridor will become the backbone of Alberta's energy ambitions, creating efficient and direct routes for oil, gas, agricultural exports, and even green tech solutions. Alberta is transforming itself into a continental trade hub, bypassing the slow bureaucratic processes that have kept it stuck in neutral for far too long. So while Ottawa continues to twiddle its thumbs, Alberta's putting wheels in motion and opening doors to markets that actually want what it has to offer.
And amongst all of the Canadian provinces, Alberta has the deepest economic ties to the United States and strong social connections that go back well over a century.
But it's not just oil that this corridor will carry. Alberta is thinking bigger. This isn't a one-trick pony of fossil fuels. It's about creating a comprehensive trade network that taps into all the province's resources. Alongside oil and gas, Alberta is positioning itself to be a major player in the trade of natural gas, agricultural exports, and even green technology. That's right, Alberta's not just sticking to what it knows. It's opening itself up to new, clean technologies as part of the energy transition, making sure it stays relevant and competitive in a rapidly changing global market.
For safe, secure, future exports of energy to the United States. With that, we could help our friends become less dependent on foreign oil imports, including from hostile OPEC dictatorships.
The future's not just black gold. It's a mix of natural resources and innovation, and Alberta's got the infrastructure to make it all happen. Now, here's the real kicker. Alberta's not just relying on the U.S. government to get things done. Nope. Alberta is locking down partnerships with U.S. states, Montana and Ontario, to name a few. Forget Ottawa and its endless delay tactics. Alberta is going directly to the states, cutting out the middleman and saying, let's work together.
Today marks an important step forward in uniting our country as Alberta joins forces with Ontario to pursue our shared goals of economic growth, opportunity, and prosperity.
Let's talk about why Alberta has gotten to this point. Over the last decade, Alberta has sent a jaw-dropping $250 billion more to Ottawa than it has received in return. Meanwhile, Ottawa continues to block major infrastructure projects that could have bolstered Alberta's economy and strengthened Canada's global standing.
Absolutely infuriating for Albertans. Over the last decade, Alberta sent nearly $250 billion more to Ottawa than it received back in federal spending.
So while Alberta's been watching its money disappear into the federal black hole, Ottawa's environmental policies have kept the province from fully exploiting its energy potential. Alberta generates over $70 billion annually from its energy sector, and yet Ottawa's policies have created roadblocks at every turn. Without Alberta, Ottawa would face a $20 billion annual shortfall. And yet, Alberta's patience has worn thin. Premier Danielle Smith has given Ottawa a 6-month ultimatum. Either get serious about supporting Alberta's economic interests, or step aside and let the province move forward without you. Alberta has made it clear, no more delays, no more waiting for federal handouts. If Ottawa isn't on board, Alberta will go it alone.
The Premier says the province is actively working to find a private sector partner for a pipeline project out west.
As Canada's oil production continues to grow, the need for federal action has never been more urgent. But Ottawa's regulatory delays are preventing Alberta from tapping into the global demand for clean and secure energy. The deal with the U.S. is a strategic move. Alberta can no longer afford to wait around for Ottawa to sort out its endless debates and consultations. The pipeline deal is essential to Alberta's future, and the province's energy independence can no longer be delayed by federal politics. Alberta's making moves that Ottawa can't ignore. Subscribe now to stay updated on the next big step.